This is the Best of Breakfast with Angela Mwihaki.
Few African artists have enjoyed the success at the highest level of international music industry, like Ghana's Rocky Dawuni. His latest album, Branches of the Same Tree, was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album in 2016, making him only the second African to be nominated in this category at the prestigious music industry event. Rocky is currently in Nairobi and, of course, on an East African tour. He just performed at the Sauti za Busara in Zanzibar and is here for a gig this weekend. And we are very privileged to welcome Rocky Dawuni to a big conversation this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Nairobi. Good morning. I mean, I'm really feeling the incredible energy, especially with the rains too. You know, it's totally puts, it changes the mood.
You don't know how excited we are, man. It's been dry.
I know.
It's been dry.
Well, that's why we're here. This is your brother African coming, and we all.
The brother brought the rain down.
The rain down. Yes.
In that case, you're not leaving. We're gonna have to keep you here then.
Yes.
So, congratulations on the Grammy nominations last year. That must have been awesome for you. How was it?
It was. It's one of those things where you work extremely hard for years. And you always set challenges, you scale, big. I've had opportunity of, my music being, moving all around the world, traveling, playing on the biggest stages, collaborating with everybody from Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. You know people.
And at some point, I just felt that when this album came out, with the first video, African Thriller, there was and it was also an album that really really fused reggae music and then also African music in a way that I felt was, resonated with a lot of people. So it debuted in the Billboard charts. It was on everybody's playlist. So I knew that there was something good coming out of it. But you could never be prepared for when you're nominated for.
So how was that? What did you feel when you knew you were literally,
It was interesting because the day the Grammy were being announced, I woke up in the morning, and I knew that the record has made it through the selection process, so I woke up in the morning and I was like, okay, let me turn on my my Twitter, so I turned on Twitter and I just saw a bunch of people say congratulations. I'm like, oh no, I didn't play the lottery, for all I remember, and then I said congratulations for your Grammy nomination.
Woohoo!
And then I just heard the phone too started ringing, and I was in Los Angeles at that time, so it was the Ghana, all the calls in Ghana because the news had broken in Ghana, and the media was calling, so I picked the phone and they're like, congratulations, Rocky, for winning, for being nominated for a Grammy, the first time for Ghana ever in our history, and it was just, a moment of thanksgiving, for me, and also a moment too that I really recognize that, hard work, when you keep really working hard and you really keep elevating the bar and you keep challenging yourselves and know that, nothing is bigger than you, but if you put faith and willpower behind it, you can achieve it. All of it dawned at that moment that all of that was very, very true. Anything is possible if you set your mind to it.
If you keep working, that's what I love what you're saying. You keep working hard. You do finally get results.
Exactly.
And we managed to capture this moment when you were interviewed on the red carpet as you arrived for the Grammy Awards last year.
It's a really incredible day. I'm nominated for Best Reggae Album and also first Ghanaian to be nominated and also first non-Jamaican too in that category for tonight. So I'm really inspired and elated and happy to really receive this honor.
And let's check out your style. Let's do a little pan here. Don't
you look incredible. How much thought goes into picking an outfit like this?
Well, this was put together by my designer in Ghana. His name is Elike.
Even the necklace, I love the little detail here on the necklace.
Thank you very much.
You're about to go in there. Who are you excited to meet that you haven't met?
I'm really excited to meet Kendrick Lamar, because for me, my album Branches of the Same Tree really kind of uses different palettes from around the world, and I feel that Kendrick Lamar's album too also breaks the mold, in just your normal, rap music album by infusing jazz and so many elements. So there's a certain rhythmic kinship that we share over there, and I really want to see his performance and also get opportunity to meet him.
So how was that experience? Red carpet, all that noise and the questions and everything. That's the full life, man.
Yeah. It's like, the epitome of it, like media from all around the world, everywhere you see, and you're on the red carpet and it's just right there. You're right in the eyes of the world, But, the thing is that for what I do, it's an expectation, you know what I mean? And it's part of it,
right?
And it keeps elevating different levels, So it was a recognition, and the thing is that, not to say that I do my music for the sake of awards, because I've had the opportunity of playing, the Kennedy Center, Hollywood Bowl with Stevie Wonder, like momentous moments like this, but to be there and something that, when you're a child of Africa and you grew up and you always see this on TV and you always see that, and to be there at a moment and you're part of this whole energy, it was humbling. At the same time too, it was also that, hey, Africa, every child, every musician who's listening to me, yes, we can,
Absolutely.
So you just have to put your eye there and work hard, and also you have to be humble enough for people to be able to help you move forward.
You guys are wondering who I'm talking to. His name is Rocky Dawuni. Yes, he is Ghanaian. He's here on an East African tour. This guy can drop names like this, as in he knows them. As guys see them on TV, please hang out with them. So how did you feel about Morgan Heritage winning that Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album?
It was, I felt that, definitely Morgan Heritage, that was their first time.
Yeah.
Also being nominated. And also a first time winner too, and they're more of a family and a band.
Yeah.
And I am an individual. But, the thing is that the success of my nomination, actually, which was covered a lot by the Jamaican media, was that my album, if you listen compared to all of the other albums, it's totally different. It's like four other artists whose album sounds, and in mine, which was, a fusion of, reggae music, Afro music, and breaking genres, And even in Jamaica, there was like such intense media focus on, in terms of my music being able to get that nomination, because it's only the second time that an African has been nominated. Yeah. So the music has to impact. So I felt that we already won in terms of getting to the nomination, and Morgan Heritage winning was a great thing, but I feel that everybody that was nominated was equally had equally won, and the Grammy too. Nomination is really the key as to everything. So it was the first time we appeared there and the first step. So we look forward to more opportunities. But I definitely congratulated
Morgan
Heritage for their win.
So did you get to meet Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick Lamar, we met briefly.
At least.
Yeah, yes. Very, very. Actually, the important thing was that his performance, the percussionist who was performing with him, Khalil Cummins, was actually my percussionist.
Cool.
Yeah, so we were sharing actually some band members too, at that moment. Yeah.
So that's awesome. So, of course, we're going to take a short break for news. But as we do that, we're going to play a little bit of Shine a Light. Why don't you introduce this for us?
Shine a Light. This is a beautiful song. Actually, this song is also coming out right now on what's called February 17th.
It's today.
Today, February 7th. Actually, this song is premiering on Ice Cube's movie Fist Fight, which is premiering in the US, and globally today. And we're playing it right now.
Yeah, here we go. I mean, like I said, the way he just drops the names easy. It's a big thing. Ice Cube's movie. So here is Shine a Light. In studio, we have with us Rocky Dawuni, Grammy-nominated artist from Ghana. He has been named by CNN as one of the top 10 most influential African musicians, and he's currently on an East African tour. And we're also joined in studio by a good buddy of his, and I understand thanks to him we got to meet Rocky, and his name is Oneku, who is a percussionist poet, and he did some rhythms on Rocky's album. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
So what songs have you, what songs can we find, or what songs are you on in his album?
Well, the song that we did with him was the song called Nairobi.
That's coming up. We'll definitely play that for them.
Yeah, which was actually inspired by his first visit to Kenya, which he came courtesy of a non-profit organization that me and my wife run. We work with children here in Kenya, but we're based in America, where we also work with children there.
Okay.
Yeah, so when he came for that event, some stuff was happening in the country, and he felt inspired, and he wrote that song for us,
Awesome. So keep it locked. We're definitely going to get you to hear Nairobi. And any thoughts, questions you may have, talk to us on Twitter. We're at KBC English.
And that's Oneko's on Nairobi. That's Oneko's voice at the tail end when he speaks in Swahili.
So we're going to listen to him in a bit. But let's get back into the conversation. And last year's Grammys, was amazing. You had Adele's tribute to George Michael, and her cursing in it as well. And then, her deciding to break her award into two and share it with Beyonce. I think she's amazing, but 26, she's got talent.
Yes.
Now, what we need to do is, of course, the respected African online publication Huffington Post describes you as one of the rare African artists who've been able to break through a broad international audience. What would you say has attributed to your music making such inroads on the global scene?
Yeah, there one important thing, to be able to have your music, it's not only necessarily, it being videos being seen and all that kind of, but how the music also seeps into the fabric of a continent or a community or a society, And in America, the most important thing is when your music also gets placed on TV shows, popular TV shows. So, my music has always, I've always had a very strong songwriting dimension to my music. So it's not necessarily something that you just hype 1 minute and then it's gone. There's songwriting, and I really put a lot of effort into really the quality so that when the music is done, it can stand on its own and stand the test of time.
So you invest heavily.
You invest heavily into making sure the music quality is very elevated. And once you do that too, it gets people's attention. So from the beginning, when I started even from previous albums, I was first of all, my music has been used on major TV stations in the US, TV shows like ER.
I love ER.
Yeah, so I've been used on Weeds, on Dexter.
Wow.
And then, a lot of my music has also been used on by EA Electronic Arts on their video games.
Yes.
So you can find my music on Sims. You can find my music on almost a lot of the World Cup video games. Even the one in South Africa.
Yeah.
My music was on.
Part of the yes.
Yeah, and then the one in Brazil, my music was part of. So the music has been able to really seep into those levels.
So it's found a niche for itself.
Exactly.
It somehow people, as they're saying, it gets into the fabric and people identify with it.
Yes. And then producers from various like film and TV also starts hearing your music. So your music is not only impacting when it comes to the shows and stage and the videos, the musical, but it's also impacting in other parts in American culture where music is.
So it's talking to everyday people, so it creates a vibe.
Exactly.
Wow.
Like the new album having this song right now that was licensed and is going to be on this film, starring Ice Cube, which is
Ice Cube. Yeah, that started today.
Yeah, it started today.
It's launching today.
Yeah,
actually, we're early, so 8 hours from now. Now, let's get into who is Rocky Dawuni. What is your name? Is that the name your mom gave you? Did you adapt it?
My full name is David Rocky Nendo Dawuni.
David Rocky Nendo Dawuni.
Dawuni. Yes.
Okay.
And Rocky is my spiritual name. Which it really means a rock, foundation, stability, grounded, and for me, I see myself as a child of Africa, an ambassador of Africa.
So let's start there. Where were you born?
I was born in Michel Camp in Accra, Tema, on a military barracks. So my father was actually from a traditional royal family, but he was the last born. He moved, joined the army.
Guys from West Africa, everybody's from a royal family, yeah?
Well, my older brother is a chief right now.
You see, because you have princes.
Yeah, so legitimately, I have legitimate claims, But I meet a lot of our people,
who say they're a princess.
Yeah, but we're all princes and princesses.
I was almost moving to Ghana on that note so I could become royalty.
Yes. We all are. We are all special in our own ways and in the ways we do stuff, So being born in the military barracks, it was during the time too of Jerry Rawlings.
Yes.
So I was in a barracks where the military were in power. So you heard a lot of revolutionary music like Afrobeat, reggae music, at the same time politics being discussed. So all those things seeped into who I became, who is somebody who wanted to use music as a means to articulate what I observed, and at the same time too as a tool for empowerment and shedding light on issues that I come across with. And I think that also made me also very attractive in terms of collaborating with worldwide organizations. I'm currently an ambassador with the UN Foundation, and I've collaborated also on so many levels on women's issues, environmental issues, climate change issues, cook stove issues, and these are all part of who I am. I'm a musician, an activist, a child of Africa, a servant of Africa, at the same time somebody too who is always trying to push the world to turn their eyes to this our beautiful continent.
Now, last year you were honored with the Kwame Nkrumah Award for Ghanaian Artist of the Year at the BAS Awards in Accra. How much support did you get from your own people back in Ghana?
The thing is that it's always, you and your people, it's like, you and your siblings. And there's always, their support can never be enough.
Yeah.
And then there's certain times you feel like they're not really giving you the support that you need. And then they'll tell you, we'll give you support. And then you're like, no, you don't give me. There's always that thing, But in the long run, Ghanaians, have their own way of appreciating stuff, And there is no question, and especially with me being given the Kwame Nkrumah Award, which is a very prestigious, award and recognized as the Artist of the Year. For me, it was really an honorable thing for me, and it's also a way of thanks, from the Ghanaian public for the achievements that our music has been able to do, which is first of all bring Ghana's music industry and the entire Ghana music industry since our independence, the first time that we have had a nomination at the Grammys and creating a platform. And right now, every Ghanaian artist is talking about winning the Grammy. That's what So
you've shown them it can be done.
Exactly, it can be done. So you see that your brother, somebody you talk to every day, somebody who eats the same food that you're eating. So it's not something that is so far off. You just have to be committed, and you just have to put in the work, and the world can come to you.
Now, right now you're based in the States.
I'm based actually half in the States and
so
half
when
in Ghana.
when did you start your music career? Was it in Ghana? How did you get to go to the Great US of A? In brief.
My music, when I started, I always wanted to be a musician, and I knew that it was really a very difficult thing because everybody was like, hey, you better learn something that will give you a guaranteed career, so that you can bring the paycheck home.
Yeah, bring
some
money.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I just got to make it work, and then I was accepted at the University of Ghana, where I went to go study philosophy and psychology, and there I also met some of the students too who were interested in music. So we started a band called Local Crisis there, and we actually covered songs that I had written, and then it became popular right away in the campus, and then popular in Accra, and then we started being booked in every big show that was happening. And then I traveled to America because I felt that I needed to learn more in terms of expanding my music, because I saw myself and my music as global. So I knew that there was more work for me to do, and everybody was like, oh, it's all great. I'm like, yeah, it's a starting point. I need more work. So I traveled to Los Angeles, hang out there, learned, hang out in the scene, came, recorded my first solo album, and that was a big success, and it was followed by another very successful album, and then it started growing from there, and then, crossing borders, and then, to the point where right now, we play, we played in almost, everywhere, from remote areas like Greenland, Iceland, Czech Republic, Poland, Spain, you just name it.
So how long have you been at it? How many years now?
it's been probably about over 15 years.
So guys need to know, it don't come easy. It's hard. I love what you're saying. You keep trying, hard work, persistence.
And every time, even regardless of how hard it is, you try to elevate, increase the bar as to what you're doing. You see, because the thing is, you can't influence what is around.
Yeah.
You can only influence what you do. So if you push it so hard, you sacrifice and elevate your craft so high, people are going to see it despite the struggle. You see, and a lot of times, people tend to blame others and like, oh, the DJs are not supporting me. Oh, the industry is not supporting me. I'm like, yes, they're not going to support you unless everybody feels like you're a moving bus and they need to jump on with you.
Right.
So that is your opportunity to work as hard so that people don't need to support you, but they feel obliged that they have to be part of your success.
I love you keep saying work hard, work hard. I hope the young guys are listening. Nothing comes easy.
And humility too.
Yes.
Work hard and be humble so that people can help you.
Yes. I
Those
love
are
that.
two key
Absolutely.
things.
Now, you've shared the stage, like you mentioned, Stevie Wonder, Johnny Legend, woo, Bono, Jason Mraz, among other superstars. How do you manage to stay calm? Because I think I'd go blank.
Well, the reason why it got that far too was because of the key importance of being humble. I've never grown and changed beyond being that African boy who always had that dream. So I always thank God for the opportunity for the manifestation of that dream. And every time I also want to make myself also available and let people know that no matter what success is, it doesn't change you from your next brother, because they also have the same potential to do exactly what you're doing. So you don't elevate yourself in some way that because there is a relative value that people are attaching to your character or your persona, that means you have to act a certain way, you know what I mean? And I feel that when you're humble, God elevates you.
I love that. Thank you.
And I try as much as possibly
to stay humble.
Yeah, to live by those, codes.
Now, you're a huge admirer of Bob Marley, and on your latest album, you have a version of Bob Marley and Peter Tosh's "Get Up, Stand Up." What made you decide to do a cover of that?
What made me decide? I have been very good friends with the Marley family.
Yeah.
I'm very, good friends with Rita, Sadela, Steven, good friend. Ziggy is a good friend,
Can you guys hear the names are just flowing? Like, Peter, Paul, Simon. This is Rita Marley, Ziggy Marley.
Yeah, because of, what we do, So we always have, and then they've also been very supportive of me. I've done concerts, for, all their brands. So I'm almost like an ambassador for a lot of even the Marley, from the Marley Coffee and Marley brand. And I've done concerts on their behalf, in Las Vegas, so we collaborate on that level.
Okay.
So there was, I felt that when I was really working on my album, that, Get Up, Stand Up, which was a song that was actually a collaboration of Peter Tosh and Bob Marley.
Yeah.
At the same time, they were inspired by an American band called War.
Yes.
Who have the song called Slipping Into Darkness. So that song inspired Bob Marley and Peter Tosh to write their music. So I felt that there needed to be, because of all the turmoil that was going on around the world, that song needed to be updated. But because I'm African, I decided to do it in an African way.
And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to sample a teeny weeny bit of the song. And this is Rocky Dawuni's version of Get Up, Stand Up.
Say, heaven day under the earth. I know say you know what this life be worth. All that go the glitter go be gold. Half my story never been told. So now you see my life. Wait till you go do. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up.
Absolutely amazing. Time is never. You can just feel that Afro beat. Absolutely, the flute, really nice. Now, CNN named you as one of Africa's top 10 global African stars in a list that included Saif Keita, Yusundu, Kainan, and most of these guys seem to live in Europe like you live in the US. I mean, is it that does being outside the continent, help you get higher? What is it?
No, we all started from here. I'm in Ghana. I'm in Ghana all the time, but once you start being a global persona, you're always on the move in different places, but still Africa is really at your heart.
It is home.
Yes, it's home. Yes.
Now, you mentioned you said your music, of course, has been used in football games. You mentioned about in the Brazil.
Yes, in the EA Sports FIFA World Cup video game.
Yeah.
One of the most popular video games in the world, all of that. I've had music, from, FIFA, almost about 4 or 5 different World Cup titles.
And your songs are in each of those games.
Yeah, songs on those games.
Brother's doing well, I tell you.
And then on Sims, the video game.
Yeah.
Too, I've had songs on that, and then TV stations and film and movies. So it's all part of it's just the music. When you make good music, it has its own wings.
Good things happen.
Yes.
Now your latest album, Branches of the Same Tree, has made it to the top 10 Billboard reggae charts in the US, and you took to the road, performing at packed concerts across US and Europe. Tell us a bit about that, the process of putting that album together and the tour. What was that like for you?
Well, the thing was that the album was inspired by first of all my African roots, my adoption of reggae music, which I see that also comes from Africa. Because Jamaicans were children of Africa.
Yeah.
And then also all the travels and the cultural engagements that I've had. And this was a record too that fully encapsulated an Africanized reggae but yet global sound. My Afro roots, I call it Afro root sound. So this record was really representative of that, And I feel that was really the key why this record really stands out. Because if you play just the normal reggae and try to rehash what everybody has done, you just be part of many. And at the same time, no matter how great it is, it's very hard for you to stand out of the crowd. And I feel that my identity as an African and integrating all these dimensions, helped me create a unique, as an artist, and then in the long run, it's I just feel that it's also everybody and in their path and their blessings, and I feel really, really, really blessed as to so far the achievements that we've had.
So why did you call it Branches of the Same Tree? Why that particular name?
Because I feel that all of humanity, all of us, we share common roots. If you're looking at the foundation of humanity, actually I'm here in Kenya, and we have some of the earliest remains of humanity.
Yes, man was initially,
Exactly, here, and this place is one of the oldest and gave birth to the incubator of the entire human race.
Garden of Eden, I think, was here.
Yes, see? Yes. I say yes.
Yeah.
So and science has gone to prove that humanity's origins from Africa. So the tree of life, the tree of humanity, its roots are here. So everybody, one way or the other, who are also various branches of the human family, all belong to this tree. And so that album is a rhythmic and cultural and sonic statement to ascertain that fact.
Cool. Now, this song, he's been saying we've got to play it. So now we're going to play Nairobi, which is part of this album. So tell us a bit, just introduce the song and let's play it for our people to hear.
This song, as my brother Oneko was saying earlier, my first trip here, when I came, it was post the election violence.
Yes, this was what, 2011?
Yeah,
it was after 2007.
Okay, so
but he came 3 years later.
So 2010, 2011 there,
2011 there,
Okay.
And there was still very, it was just a very tense atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I had been traveling various places, and people would ask me about, when the violence had been happening here. People were like, what's going on in Africa? I'm like, what's going on with your brothers? And I'm like, every African problem is a problem for all of us. It doesn't mean that when Kenya is going through difficulty, that means Ghanaians are not affected. Ghanaians too, we are part and parcel of the success of Kenya, and that's how all Africa, we have to see that.
Yeah.
So my presence here, I felt that as a citizen of Africa, and as a citizen of Kenya, as a citizen of Ghana too, I had to write a song that really is a song of togetherness that bring everybody, Luo, Kalenjin, Kikuyu, everybody together to understand that we are all in this together. Our destiny, if we all agree to work on it, our destiny is much more bigger than the sum of our divided parts.
And here is
this is the song Nairobi.
That never again will I hurt you. Nairobi, I love you. All over the city, from place to place, I reach out with joy to the people I meet, cause I love you. Nairobi, I love you. I love you. Nairobi, nakupenda. I love you so. Kimati Street, I heard a preacher man pray for a rain of peace, and I said true. Nairobi, I love you. Young and old, from every creed, everybody must join this unity.
So Nairobi, dedicated to us, and coincidentally, but of course, by Rocky Dawuni. Now here it is. This is an election year. And you're here at the right time. The last time you came, you just come from post-elections.
Yes, and actually after post-election, I was actually here before the last election to work with Dr. Abbas and Eric Wainena and Juliani and everybody, the peace.
Do you hear this guy, the way he just knows these people? I think we need to give him a Kenyan name. After this, I'm working on giving him a Kenyan name. So now this is, again, we have elections coming up.
Well,
Ghana so far is a good role model because you guys have just had an election, and the person lost and has handed over peacefully. What's your message to us?
Well, the thing is that what Ghana has been doing and has succeeded in doing is really to say that, if Africans were going to embrace the concept of democracy, maybe we are the future to the concept of democracy, because even in America, where they've been pushing democracy, you can see that democracy is not really working. So Africa has an opportunity to rebrand this concept, but then we have to make it work. That is, we have to be able to change power in a way that we don't rise against each other. And we have to also be able to know that if our one side loses, that doesn't mean that we don't support them for the benefit of all. So all I want to say is that the people of Kenya, coming from a Ghanaian, we just finished our elections. It was peaceful. So let Kenya, the world's eyes is coming on Kenya too. Let Kenya make the world proud, and also be the cornerstone too in the east of the excellence of African democracy.
I love that. Now, just before we finish, you mentioned the name, Mr. Trump. What is that impact? How is that affecting things in the States now with this guy? And man, already it's like running a marathon, keeping up, because you're like, what's he going to do today? What kind of impact is that having for Africans out there in the States?
Well, a lot of people are concerned, deeply concerned because of the rhetoric, and a lot of people too have, but I think that we should see that, when you're giving lemons, you make lemonade.
Let's do that.
So it's that, Africans now have to look at our continent and how we are going to be able to unify, because can you imagine the possibility of our economies if we integrate it together?
We could take over.
How powerful it is. So any other competition among ourselves is irrelevant right now. We have to look inside, and our leaders have to have that political courage to work together and create an Africa that would withstand this changing landscape in the geopolitical world.
Amazing. We need to focus on Africa now. Let's talk about why you're here. You were in Sauti za Busara Festival in Zanzibar last weekend. How was that for you?
It was amazing. We headlined, the festival. We were the last crowning concert of the last night, and it was really beautiful, in Zanzibar with all the people in the old fort and the great vibration and energy. And I'm really excited that now I'm in Nairobi and I'm playing tomorrow night.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, people who are listening, I'm going to be live in concert.
Right.
So if you're listening, you have to get your tickets early because this is going to sell out. It's going to be at the Alchemist Bar tomorrow. I'm going to be supported by Fire Mama Jambi.
Oh, nice.
Her band is going to play, and we're going to come onto the stage, with fire and brimstone. And I'm working with a lot of great, musicians too out of Kenya here. So anybody who's listening, please, make sure you make a date for tomorrow night, live and direct at the Alchemist Bar. And then also, go onto Twitter, Facebook, follow me, join me, and let's, East Africa is very important for me, and especially Kenya. And with my song Nairobi too right now, being part of my Grammy-nominated album.
It's huge, man.
It's huge, you know what I mean? So Kenya has given me a lot of, let's say, good luck and good vibes.
Good vibe.
So I'm glad. And then tomorrow too is the first time I'm going to be playing the song Nairobi live
in Nairobi.
Awesome. So everybody should come down and be part of it.
So how do we get the tickets?
I think you go online, or you go to the Alchemist Bar.
And the Alchemist is where it's happening. Let me just tell them, in Nairobi they're going to be at the Alchemist Bar. You guys need to be there early. You don't walk in at midnight. He'll have done his thing. So be there by 8. And then you also have another concert in Naivasha.
Yes.
When is that?
That is on the 24th. I'm playing at in the Wild Festival.
Cool.
At the Soisambu
Ranch.
Ranch Conservancy. And this is a concert that is focusing on conservation, and at the same time too the importance of our environment. But we're going to use music as the tool to celebrate. And anybody who wants to travel out there too, I invite you that you have the opportunity to see our concerts twice within Kenya. So tomorrow night, and then that will be 24th too at the shores of Lake Elementaita. So put that in your calendar. Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, which artists would you look forward to collaborating with, both especially in Africa and then globally, other than the guys you already hooked up with?
There's so many artists that I love here. I've always been a big fan of Giuliani.
I like that you just mention them casually. Eric Wainaina.
I've worked with them. I've spent a lot of time in Kenya. I mean, if you can write a song like Nairobi and sing it authentically,
and talking about where you've been,
you have to
driving
some
the train,
ugali and be in the community, and
we feel you.
We feel like you gotta feel it. So but I'm always open for surprises.
Cool.
And I like to not really mention, just because I know that a lot of times the collaborations that I've had have been spontaneous. I've just met somebody and then
it happens.
It's
the right time, the right place.
Time, so I always keep that space for that.
Cool. Now, as we wind up, there's a question we ask all our guests. You as Rocky, what motivates you to get up in the morning? And life will give you challenges. How do you deal with them?
Well, what motivates me is really the bright future that I see for all Africans. The bright future that I see for all of us, especially in this time, in this generation. We are probably one of the most educated generation ever in the history of our continent. We are probably one of the most traveled generation ever in the history of our continent. We are also probably the generation too that right now has had the power of technology to really start even connecting us. So we even connecting and unifying using technology even before the geographic dimensions of it happen. So when I wake up in the morning, there's always that smile that the dream of our founding fathers it's very possible. And I believe that there's always, they said, the generation that you've been waiting for. I'm like, Africa, this generation, let us be the generation we've been waiting for. The people of Kenya, let's be the generation of the generation that we've been waiting for. We are stronger than we can ever imagine, but it will only take for us to work together to be able to achieve that.
And life has challenges. How do you deal with them?
I feel that the valleys are meant for you to appreciate the peaks. So whenever I'm hit with a situation where I feel like the odds are stacked against me, I feel that everything is not going my way as I expected, I breathe deeply, and just say, what, I can appreciate. Once I'm breathing, I have the gift of life and gift of breath. So there's nothing that can be bigger than having that gift. So then I'm like, okay, this is a challenge. I have to embrace it, and then I have to work through it, and then in the long run I'm gonna get to the other side. So that's how I always deal with situations. In the long run, the situations actually become a tool to make you stronger.
I love especially the fact that you talked about work, because we have got a generation, our millennials don't believe in work. They think things will happen. So I love the emphasis that you've given us.
Yes.
So it's great to have met you. And remember, he'll be at the Alchemist this weekend. And in Naivasha next weekend, this is Rocky Dawuni. We'll be playing you his song African Thriller in just a bit. But thank you very much, Rocky. I hope we can see you again. And yeah, we need to find you a Kenyan name.
Yes.
We've not decided where anywhere to.
That was the Best of Breakfast with me, Angela Mwihaki. Remember to follow us on Facebook at KBC English Service. On YouTube, look for the KBC English Service channel. And on Twitter, we're at KBC English Service, and I'm at Angela Mwihaki.